Yes. So, so in the last class, in the last class we have seen like how to work with how to read the content of array. So in reading the content of array, okay, we have seen different approaches. I said how to read the content of array. You can read the content of array using index. You can read the content of array using slicing. You can read the content of array using for loop. You can read the content of array using iterators. Like you find a flat nd iterator and nd enumerate. And even you can read the content of array using some condition. So if you want to read the content of array using condition, you are trying to use different functions. Like there is a where and one more is what? Extract. So after this, I said NumPy provides a various approaches for creating array. That is what we have seen in the beginning. I said you can create the NumPy array by using different approaches. You can create a NumPy array by using different approaches. Maybe I said in the beginning, yes. I said how to create an array. So NumPy provides various functions to create what here? Array. Now there is a function like creating arrays by using a function called which one? Array. You can use a function called arrange and you can use a function called linspace. There is a function called log space and there is a function called like there are special arrays like zeros arrays, ones arrays, empty arrays, full array. And there is an identity and diagonal arrays like there is an I and there is a diagonal. And there is a random arrays which are generated by using random dot, random function, random dot, random integer function, random dot, random n function, random dot. And there is a function called there is a function called which one? Choice. So there are different ways of creating NumPy array, but in this I said about only one function. And what is the name of the function is array. So let us talk about other methods of creating this array, right? So how to create an array is you can create an array by using various functions. How to create an array means you create an array by using various functions. But all these function returns which object? ND array object. All these functions return which object? ND array object it returns. Okay. So all these functions return ND array object. So the object what it returns is ND array. So I said about array function. Now next we'll talk about arange function. So there is one more function, and what is the name of this function is arange. Okay, there is one more function, and what is the name of the function is arange here. Okay, array range. So np dot, so numpy dot, so here numpy dot arange. So already you know the function called range. Okay, in Python, you learn a function called which one? Range. You have a function called range, or you have a data type. What is the name of the data type? Range data type. What is the use of range data type? Is it range is an immutable sequence or not? Yes. It is a sequence data type. Range is which data type? Sequence data type. And using range, you can generate a sequence of which values? Integer values. Range is used to generate a sequence of sequence of which values? Integer values. So whenever you are talking about range, a range required how many inputs? Three inputs. A range required how many inputs? Three inputs. One is called as a start, and second one is called as a stop, and third one is called as a step. But whereas a step is optional, but start and stop is compulsory. So if you want to generate the sequence of integer values with the given intervals, now this is stop, right? Step. So step defines the increment or what? Decrement value. The step represents increment or decrement value. If I'm writing a range, 1 comma 11 comma 1. If I'm writing range 1 comma 11 comma 1, so what will happen? It will create a range with the start value as what? 1. And what is the value of stop is 11. The value of start is 1 and the value of stop is 11. The value of step is what again? 1. Means what this range is doing, it is generating the sequence of integers from 1 to 10. Is it stop is included or not included? Not included. It will generate the sequence of integers from 1 to 10 by incrementing the value with what? 1. Okay, so step is nothing but the difference between the values within the range. What is the difference between the values within the range? So that difference is defined by using what here? Step. So this step can be either increment value or decrement value. So what will happen? This will generate a sequence of integers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it is generated how many values here? 10 values. In the same way, I'm writing a range. Okay, 1 comma 11 comma 2. If I'm writing a range 1 comma 11 comma 2, so what is the start value is 1. What is the stop value is 11. What is the step value is 2. So this will generate a sequence of integers like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So what is the difference between the values within the range? 2. Means it is trying to increment the value by 2. So this is a start, this is a stop, and this is a step. But always you give the step value based on start and stop values. Means you can use a range to generate the sequence of integers in increment order or in decrement order. You want to generate the sequence of integers in increment order or decrement order, then use it. Now I'm saying range. Okay, range, I'm writing 5 comma minus 6 comma minus 1. 5 comma minus 6 comma minus 1. So what is a 5 is start. What is a minus 6 is stop. What is a minus 1 is step. Okay, now it will generate 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 minus plus of minus 1 is 0. Okay, then minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Okay, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Then minus 4, minus 5. It is generated values from 5 to what here? Minus 5. Now what is a 5 is here? Start. What is a minus 5 here? Stop. So it is generated values from 5 to what here? Minus 5. Getting on. So if you want to generate a sequence of integers in increment order or in decrement order, you are using a data type called which one? Range. Yes. In the same way, when it comes to the NumPy, you can create an array by using a sequence of integers. Not only integers. Now, the difference between the range and arange is the range can generate the sequence of integers. Means it allows only input as what? Integers. I cannot write. When I'm working with a range, I cannot write. Okay, I cannot write 1.0, 1.0 comma 11.0. Now, is it range? Is it range allows to generate a sequence of floats? No, this is not allowed. So range required only inputs of which type? Integer types. Range required the input as which type? Integer. It doesn't allow the input as what? Float. It allows the input as what? Integers. If I'm trying to write a range of 1.0 comma 11.0, then immediately it gives what? Error. But when it comes to the A range is similar to range only, but this will return array. This will return what here? Array. Getting on. So it will return which object? ND array object. This will return ND array object. So A range, I'm writing here. A range is a predefined. Okay, A range is a predefined function of NumPy, and this function is used to create array object, or it is used to create ND array object. It is used to create array object or ND array object. So this function, okay, this function generate sequence of numbers. This function generate sequence of numbers, and this can be integer, or this can be what here? Float. This can be integer or it can be what? Float. So this function generate the sequence of numbers, either it can be integer or float within given range of values. Within given range of values. So A range function, A range means array range. A range function required. A range function required the following inputs. A range function required the following inputs. What is the input it required? Again, start. What is the input it required? Stop. What is the input it required? Step. What is the input it required? Data type. Data type. If you don't give the data type, the type is based on the values. The type is based on which one? Values. If you don't give the data type, the type is based on the values. What is the syntax of this arange is you are writing like this. Okay, you are writing like this. Numpy dot arange numpy dot arange. So start is required. Start is required and stop is required, but step is optional. Start is required and stop is required, but step is what here? Optional. And D type is also optional because this is based on which one? Type of value. The type of value. But by default, what is the type is? Integer. What is the default type is? Integer. That is based on the start and stop values. Always the type is based on the start and what? Stop values. So you are trying to give the input like this. numpy dot arange you are trying to give the start value, you are trying to give the start value, stop value, and one more is what? Step value. But what is the step value is? The default step value is a 1. If you don't give the step value, okay, if you don't give the step value, it will take the default step value as a 1. So, but data type is none. Okay, data type is none. So is it clear this one? But which one is required? Actually, I think you know this. Okay, A range is there. A range. Even start is also compulsory or optional. Optional. The start is also optional. If you don't give the start, it will take the default start or not. Yes. I think you learn this in what do you call it as range. How many syntaxes are there in range? Two syntaxes. One is a range followed by stop. Another one is range followed by range followed by start and then stop. If I don't give the start here, what is the default start is 0. If I don't give the step, what is the default step is 1. Getting on. So here also, okay. Here also you are giving the start. Start is a none. Means if you don't give the start, it will take the default start. If you don't give the step, it will take the default step. If you don't give the data type, it will take the default data type. But which one is compulsory? Stop is compulsory. Which one is compulsory? Stop is compulsory. Okay, right? So what is the start here? Okay, start. So there is a argument called start here. So this argument, okay, this argument define the start value of array range. Start value of array range, which is included. The start value is included. The start value is included. So the default value of start is what here? 0. But that is based on the data type. If the data type is integer, what is the start value is 0. If the data type is a float, what is the start value is 0.0. If the data type is integer, what is the start value is 0. If the data type is float, what is the start value is 0.0. Then next argument is stop. So this argument, okay, define the stop value of range. The stop value of array range. The stop value of array range, which is excluded means this value is not included. Okay, this value is not included, and this is required argument. This is required argument means compulsory you have to give the value of this. This is required argument. Compulsory you have to give the value of stop. Compulsory you have to give the value of stop. Then there is a step. Okay, this argument defines the difference between the difference between values, within range. The difference between values within range is defined by which one? Step. So this is, this is either increment value or decrement value. Increment value or decrement value, and the default step is 1, and step should not be 0, and step should not be 0, step should not be a 0. Okay, compulsory you have to give either greater than 0 or it should be less than 0, but it should not be what here? 0. The next one what you have is a D type. So next argument is a D type. So this argument defines the data type of array. Data type of which one? Array. Array means you can say array elements. Data type of array or array elements. That is represented by using which one? D type. So array A range is having how many arguments? 4 arguments. What is the first one is start. What is the second one is stop. What is the third one is step. What is the fourth one is data type. So A range is used to generate the sequence of numbers. If you want to create an array, using a sequence of numbers, you can generate an array with a sequence of numbers by using which function? A range. Getting on or suppose I want to represent. Okay, I want to represent values on x-axis. So this is x and this is what here? Y. So I want to represent some points here, right? I want to represent some points here. Okay, how can I represent? Suppose I want to generate like this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So how can I generate this sequence of integers? By using a function called which one? A range. I want to generate a time series. Okay, how can I generate a time series? I can generate it by using which function? A range. Getting or not? Okay, but you define what is the difference between the values by using which one? Step. So let me tell you an example here. So let me tell you an example. I'm writing here import numpy as np. So I'm writing here a1. Equal to np dot. What is the name of the function is a range. A range is the name of the function. So compulsory you have to give one input. If I don't give any input, will it create array? Na? Array input is given or not given? Not given. But one is required, right? Which argument is required? Stop. Which argument is required? Stop. If I don't give anything, now immediately it is given errors here. A range requires one argument. What is that argument is? Stop. Compulsory you have to give the value of stop. So what is the value of stop? I've given 5. So here 5 is a stop. 5 is a stop. I'm writing here A1, print A1. Okay. So it is generated or it is created array with how many elements? 5 elements. That is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But what is the default start is 0. Now can I write A2 equal to np dot a range 5.0 array range 5.0. What is 5.0? Stop. 5.0 is what here? Stop. Then what is the start? 0.0. What is the start? 0.0. 0 dot means 0.0. 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. So A range takes inputs as an integer or it can take the input as what? Float. But range, if you are working in Python collections, range will take only inputs as what? Integers. Suppose range is there. For example, if I'm using a range, can I write a range 5.0? No. If I write like this, now immediately it is given what? Error. You can see the error. Float object cannot be interpreted as what? Integer. Okay, but a range means array range takes both integer as well as float. Now tell me if I'm writing A3 equal to NP dot array range. I said here 5.0 comma D type equal to NP dot integer. So what is the data type I'm using here? Integer. But actually you are given input as what? Float. But you are converting that input to what? You are converting that input to what? Integer, 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 right? Now, but here np dot integer define the size. Okay, integer some 16. I said integer 16. Now you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It means this is typecasting or not? Yes. It means you are converting float to what? Integer. Suppose if I'm writing A4, I'm writing A4 equal to np dot A range. A range, I'm writing a 5. But 5 is what? Integer. If I'm writing D type equal to np dot some float. Okay, float 32. Okay, float 32. If I'm writing print A4, but actually range generate the values of which type integer. But I converted that integer to what here? Float. You can see 0, 0.0, 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. Can you say this is typecasting or not? Yes. But actually your range is float. You are converting into which type? Integer. Actually your range is integer. You are converting into which type? Float. But how you are doing that conversion? By giving input as what? Data type. So here the data type is given integer 16 and here the data type is given float 32. Getting or not? Yes. So this is a stop. This value is what? Stop. But is this stop is included or not included? Not included. Okay, stop is not included. If I'm writing A5 equal to NP dot A range, NP dot A range, I'm giving a start. This is a start and this is a stop. But I'm not given the step. If the step is not given, what is the default step is? 1. The default step is 1. Now it is created array with how many elements? 10 elements, that is from 1 to 10. So by default it create which array? One dimensional array. If I'm writing A5 dot A5 dot n dimension, it is which array? One dimensional array. That is which array? One dimension array. I want to generate years. I'm writing np dot a range. Now 2000 is the starting year and 2025. Okay, 2011 is a stop year. Then what is the step is 1. So it will create an array. It will create an array with what? Years. It will create an array with what here? Years. If I print this, now you can see 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003 up to what? 2010. Correct or not? So if you want to generate a sequence of integers, you can also give the step value. If I'm writing A6, A6 equal to NP dot A range, NP dot A range. Here I'm writing 1 comma 11 comma 2, 1 comma 11 comma 2. It will create an array with 1 to 10 with the difference of 2. You can see these are odd numbers. So 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. I'm writing A7 equal to NP dot A range. np dot range. I'm writing 2 comma 11 comma 2. If I'm writing 2 comma 11 comma 2, it generates an array with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. In the same way, if I'm writing A8 equal to NP dot A range, NP dot A range, pi comma minus 5 comma minus 1. Can I write 5 comma minus 5 comma minus 1? If I'm writing A8, now you can see the array generated with 5 2 minus 4 because minus 5 is included or not included? Not included. If I'm writing A9 equal to NP dot A range, NP dot A range, 5 comma, sorry, minus 5 comma, minus 5 comma 6, minus 5 comma 6. What is minus 5? Start. What is the 6? Stop. What is the step? 1. So minus 5 plus 1 is minus 4. Minus 4 plus 1 is minus 3. Minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2. Minus 2 plus 1 is minus 1. Minus 1 plus 1 is what? 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. It will generate from minus 5 to 5. If I'm trying to print A9, you can see the array with, yes, minus 5 to what here? 5. But by default, it will create an array of which type? 1D array. If you want to convert that 1D array to 2D array, what do you have to do? You have to define what? Shape. You have to define the shape. Now, if you see this array is having how many elements? Or how many elements? So 5 minus 5 to minus 1 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 11 are there. Now this is how many elements? 10 elements, right? Because if you want to convert into two-dimensional array, always you give the shape based on the number of elements. You always give the shape based on the number of elements. A range, I write here 4. So how many elements are there in this array? 4 elements. How many elements are there in this array? 4 elements. Now it is 1D array or not? Yes. I want to convert this into 2D array. What I'm doing? I'm writing A10 dot. What is this? Shape. You can use reshape. You can use shape. Shape is what? Mutable. Reshape is what? Immutable. So reshape will create a new array, but shape will do the change. Shape will change the shape of the same array or not? Yes. A10 dot shape, I'm writing 2 comma 2. It means 2 rows and 2 columns. I write A10, and if you see these elements, now this is which array? 2D array. But you are creating 1D array by using which function? A range. Tell me, is it clear this one? You understood A range? So A range is used for creating an array. You are creating an array. You are creating an array with a sequence of values. You are creating an array with a sequence of values by using a function called which one? A range. Understood? Right? What do you say here? Yes or no? Okay. So for that, yes. Yesterday I uploaded some MCQs. You have seen, uploaded some MCQs on yes, I uploaded some MCQs. Okay, just to go through that MCQs, right? Okay, so here in A range, you try to define the interval. So here the interval is defined by using which one? Step. The difference is defined by using what here? Step. Okay, there is one more function. There is one more function is there. So there is one more function. And what is the name of the function is numpy dot linspace. Okay, numpy dot, what is the name of the function? Linspace. See, I said no, there are a lot of functions are there for creating ND array, but you try to use a function based on your requirement. You try to use a function based on your requirement, right? So there is a linspace. So always this A range, always this A range and linspace, this both are compared. This both are compared. So what is the name of the function is linspace. Okay, linear space or linear array. And if you want to create an array with number of values, if you want to create an array with number of values with the default interval, means you don't want to define the interval. You want to generate a sequence of integers where this integer should be generated evenly. Getting or not? You want this integers to be generated what? Evenly. You don't want to define interval. Here interval is defined by using what? Step. Interval is defined by using what here? Step. But when it comes to the linspace, you try to define only, when it comes to the linspace, you try to define only how many values you want to generate. How many values you want to generate between the start and stop. How many values you want to generate between the start and stop. How many values you want to generate. But you don't define what? Step. You don't define the step. But the step is taken based on the total number of values you are generating. The difference is taken based on the total number of values you are generating. That is done by using which function? Linspace. Getting or not? So here the input is only a start and stop and number of elements. The start and stop and number of elements, but you don't define the step. What is the step represents here? Difference between the values. What is the step represents here? Difference between the values. That is what you mean by step. But in this case, you are not giving a step. Then how the step is taken based on number of values. For example, assume that from 1 to 5. Now 1 is a start. Assume that 1 is a start and 5 is what here? Stop. Okay, 1 is a start and I want to generate up to 5. How many values I want to generate is 10 values I want to generate. From 1 to 5, I want to generate how many values? 10 values. From 1 to 5, I want to generate 10 values. Then what is the difference between the values? What is the difference between values? From 1 to 5, I want to generate how many values? 10 values. What is the difference between the values? That is based on the total number of elements or not? Yes. For example, from 1 to 5, I want to generate 5 values. From 1 to 5, I want to generate how many values? 5 values. What is the difference between these values? 1. What is the difference between these values? 1. So what is the default step it will take? 1. What is the default step it will take? 1. So that is based on the total number of elements you are generating. That is based on the total number of elements you are generating. That is done by using which function? Linspace. So sometimes I may ask you like what is the difference between A range and linspace? This is frequently asked questions here. What is the difference between, this question is asked frequently. What is the difference between A range and here? A range and linspace. Frequently asked question this is. A range is there and linspace is there. Okay. So define the step size. But here you don't define the step size here. Define the number of evenly spaced elements within the given range. Evenly spaced elements within the given range, within the given interval, within the given interval, evenly spaced. But here, not evenly spaced. You are trying to give the difference, cumulative difference between the elements. And that is defined by using which value here? Step value. But here, there is no step. There is no step. You try to define only the number of elements. You try to define only the number of elements. So defines the number of evenly spaced elements within a given interval. But here interval is not defined. Here interval is not defined, but here interval is what? Defined. The step is defined, but here step is not defined. See here. This is frequently asked question. What is the difference between linspace and what is that? A range. So only the thing is step and without step. Create a specified number of evenly spaced points between two values. Okay, create. What it will create? A specified number of evenly spaced elements. Evenly spaced elements are evenly spaced points between two values. I've taken this. So create a specified number of, create a specified numbers, create a specified numbers of evenly spaced points between two values. Between two values. Or you can say creates an array. Which array? 1D array only. This creates what? Array. Which array it will create? 1D array. Create sequence of evenly spaced, evenly spaced integers or evenly spaced numbers between two values. And what is the two values is? Start, and one more is what? Stop. One is a start and one more is a stop. You know how many values you want to generate. You want to generate number of values. You want to generate number of values between the two values without giving what? Step. You want the step that is increment or decrement. It should take automatically. Then you go for which one? Linspace. So what is the syntax? What is the syntax of linspace? What is the syntax of linspace? You are writing n numpy dot linspace. Numpy dot linspace. You have to give which value? Start value. You have to give which value? Stop value. And you have to give which value? Number of values. You have to give one more argument. What is it argument? How many values you want to generate it? How many arguments, how many values you want to generate it? So number of values. So there is a number. There is a num is nothing but how many values you want to generate between the start and stop. How many values you want to generate between the start and stop. That is done by using yes. Okay, now start value, stop value, and one more is number of elements. And you have a data type that is nothing but ND type. You can give the data type, and what is the data type is D type. You can give the data type of this linspace. You can give a data type of this linspace. I'm taking only this many number of arguments. So that is a start. So start This is nothing but a starting point or start value of linspace. This is a start value of linspace, and there is a stop, and this is a stop value of linspace. This is included. Okay, this is included. This is a stop value of linspace, and this is what here excluded. And num is nothing but number of values to be generated between start and stop. Number of values to be generated between start and stop. And D type, so represents data type of an array or array elements. Data type of an array or array elements. If you want to create evenly spaced points, or evenly spaced integers, if you want to create evenly spaced points or evenly spaced integers, you can create it by using one predefined function. And what is the name of the function? Linspace. The function name is what here? Linspace. Yeah, you answered your question only. So what will happen? See here. So what will happen if I am writing array 1 equal to np dot linspace, okay, but I've not given any input. What will happen if I don't give any input? So immediately it is given error, right? So what are missing arguments is two missing arguments are there. One is a start and one more is a stop. So which are required arguments here? Start and stop. Now here I'm writing 0 comma 50. I'm writing 0 comma 50. What is 0? Start. What is 50? Stop. How many values should be generated? Are you given number of values? Are you given number of values or not given? Not given. You have to give how many values you want to generate between 0 to what? 50. But are you given number of values to be generated? No. You are not given number of values to be generated. But it is generated how many values? Or it is generated how many values? How many values it is generated? 50 values. How many values it is generated? 50 values. That is from 0 to 50. So what will happen if I am writing 0 comma 100? Tell me how many values it generate? 100? 0 to 100? How many values? Now if I run this, how many values it is generated? 100. 0 to 100. 0 to 100. 0 to 100. See here, 0 to 100. How many values generated? 0 to 100. But 100 is included, number of values, right? The number of values it is generated. And number of values are, by default, what is the number of values? 100 values. That is from 0 to 0 to what? 100. If you don't give the number of values, what is the default number of values? What is the total number of values it will generate? By taking default difference as what? 1. What is the default difference it takes? 1. 0 to 100 means it is generated how many values? 100 evenly spaced or not? Yes. From 0 to 100 evenly spaced means is it incremented with 1 or not? Yes. 0, sorry. 0 and 2, and there is a 4, there is a 6. Now what is a 2? 2 point. So 2 point something like 2.040 means what is the difference? Yes, this is a difference, right? So 2.04081, this is the difference between the values. Evenly spaced or not? Yes. Because total how many values it generated? Now 100 values, huh? Tell me 100 values generated, huh? No. See here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Total how many values is generated? 50 values. What is the default value of num? 50. What is the default value of num? 50, not 100. See here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So total how many values? 50 values. What is the default number of elements? What is the default number of elements? 50. What is the default number of elements? 50. Number of elements it is generated is 50. If you want, you can see documentation. So what is the default value of number of elements is 50. If you don't give, if you don't give, if you don't give the number of elements, if you don't give the number of elements you want to generate, what is the default number of elements it generate? 50. You can see that. Now this is a manual, right? So what is the total number of elements here? What is the total number of elements, sir? 50. How many elements it will generate? 50. What is the default data type is? What is the default data type is? Array. What is the default data type is? It is generated array or not? Yes. These values are which type? Array. This value is 0 point, 2 point. These values are which type? Float. That is based on the number of elements and the difference. That is based on the number of elements. Suppose, yeah, you understood this one, huh? So what is the default number of elements it generate between the given start and stop? 50. If you don't give the num, it will generate how many values? 50 values. That is the default. It will generate 50 values. That is the default. Generate 50 values. That is default. Okay, na? Yes. So there is a start and there is a stop. And num is nothing but number of values to be generated between the start and stop. So start is included, but stop is also included, included or excluded. Number of values it should generate. Number of values should be generated from start to which one? Stop, right? Suppose if I am giving number of values, if you don't give the number of values, the default number of values are how many? 50. If I run this 0 to 51, so generated how many values? 50 values only. If I am writing 0 to, okay, 0 to 50, then how many values? 50 values. If I am saying 0 to 49, I am writing 0 to 49. How many values it is generated? 50 values. That is 0 to 49. Total how many values? Alright, total how many values? 50 values. It is generated how many values? 50 values. What is the difference between these values? 1. What is the difference between these values? 1. But is it stop is included or excluded? Included. Stop is included or excluded? Included. But here we have written what? Excluded. But is it included or excluded? Included. Line space. It is included. 0 to 49. Total how many values is generated? 50 values from 0 to 49. Clear? Now if you want integer, you can just write A2 equal to NP dot, what is that? Linspace 0 comma 49, 0 comma 49. What is this? Data type NP dot integer 16. 16 means how many bytes? Or 16 means how many bytes? 2 bytes. 16 means how many bytes? 2 bytes. 2 bytes. Okay, 16 means 2 bytes. Means you are creating an integer range. You are creating integer range. If I am writing A2, now it is created range of which values? Integer values. That is from 0 to, what is that? Point. So total how many values it is generated? 50 values. But you want to give the number of values to be generated. You want to define the number of values to be generated. You are saying np dot linspace 0 comma 0 comma 49 0 comma 49 comma 25. How many values you are generating? 25 values. How many values you are generating? 25 values from 0 to 49. You are generating 25 values from 0 to 49. If I'm trying to print A3, how many values it will generate? 25 values. Now you can see 0 to 49, 0 and 2 point. Now you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now total number of values are how many? 25 values, because I've given number of values. How many values I want to generate? 25 values I want to generate. Now, is it these values are evenly distributed or not? Yes. So what is the difference between this value 0 and 2.04 and 4.08, and this is 6.125? So there is a difference between these values or not? Yes. How can you find the difference between these values? Tell me, any formula is there to find the difference? Mathematics. How to find the difference between these values? How to find difference between these values? How to find the difference between these values? Difference is there, right? How can you find the difference? Any formula is there? See, what is the step? How can you find the step? Yeah, tell me. Just a simple formula is there. Tell me what is the formula? Yeah, tell me यार. आप ही बोलना, मैं नहीं बोलूंगा यार. B minus A, subtract any two consecutive numbers, okay. So that is 0 minus this one, Is it, this is a difference between the values or not? Yes. So that is 2.04 or 4 point B minus A. 4.0 minus 2.0. See here. 4.08 minus 2.04. What is the difference? Is 2.04 only, right? Difference is 2.04. What happened here? Difference is 2.04 or not? Yes. The difference between these values is what? 2.04. 2.04. What is the difference is? 2.04. Difference, yes. D2 minus D1. Yes. Yeah, Abhishek, right. So there is a start, a stop, and total number of values you want to generate. Total number of values you want to generate. Now I'm writing here A4. A4 equal to NP dot lin space. You can give the start value, no problem. You can give the start value. What is the start value? Is 10. What is the stop values? Some stop value. Okay, there is a start value and there is a stop value. Now start is a 10 and stop is what, some? Okay, I'll take 20. Then how many values you want to generate? That is defined by using num. But it is not a keyword argument. You can give directly value or you can use keyword. Okay, means you can give the input by using a keyword argument called num. I want to generate. How many values I want to generate? Some 5 values. From 10 to 20, I want to generate how many values? 5 values. 5 points I want to generate it. I'm writing A4. If I'm saying print A4, now how many values it is generated? 5 values. 10 and 12.5 and 15, 17.5, and there is what? 20. What is the difference between these values? What is the difference between these values? What is the difference between these values? 2.5. What is the difference between these values? 2.5. But is it, this interval is taken automatically or not? Yes, the interval is taken automatically based on number of values. That is based on number of values. How many values you are generating? 5 values. So what is the interval is taken between these two values? 2.5. 2.5. In the same way, I'm writing A5. A5 equal to NP dot linspace, NP dot linspace 5 comma 5 comma 0. I want to generate 5 values. I said 5 comma 0. I want to generate 5 values, or I want to generate 4 values, or I want to generate 5 values from 5 comma 0. Then what will happen? Print A5. A5. Now you can see 5, 3.75, 2.5, 1.25, and one more value is what? 0. I'll try to say 4 comma 0. How many values I want to generate? 5 values. Now 4, 4.0, 3.0, 2.0, 1.0, and 0.0. What is the step is taken? Is it step is positive or negative? Negative. The difference is taken as negative or not? Yes, you don't require to give the difference. You don't require to give the difference or interval. Okay, A6. A6 equal to NP dot linspace. A6 equal to NP dot linspace. I'm writing -1 comma, -1 comma, -5. I want to generate 5 values. What is a -1 here? Start. What is a -5 here? Stop. How many values you want to generate? 5 values. Are you given difference? No. The difference is taken based on the number of values. -1.0, -2.0, -3.0, -4.0, -5.0. Then I'm giving values like this. A7 equal to NP dot, what is this? Linspace, NP dot linspace -5 comma -1. I want to generate again how many values? 5 values. If I'm writing A7, how many values it will generate? 5 values. -5.0, -4.0, -3.0, -2.0, and -1.0. Agreeing or not, right? So the difference between the values is taken based on the number of elements and based on the start and stop values. Based on the start and stop values, right? So always it will generate the values in which type of float. What is the default data type is float. If you want to convert it, you are saying NP dot linspace. I'm writing 5 comma -5 comma -1, 5 comma data type equal to NP dot integer some 16. Now it will convert the values from float to what? Integer. -5, -4, -3, -2, and -1. But whenever you convert a float to integer, there is a loss of value or not? Yes. There is a loss of value when you are generating with, yes, A9 equal to NP dot linspace. Okay, I'm writing 0 comma 0 comma 4, 0 comma 4 or 1 comma, or I'm saying 1 comma 5. I want to generate 10 values. I want to generate 10 values from 1 to 5. I want to generate 10 values from 1 to 5. If I'm writing A9, so print A9, you can see 1, 1.44, 1.88, 2.33. What is the difference is 0.4. What is the difference is 0.4? Yes or no? 0.4. What will happen? What will happen if I convert D type? D type equal to NP dot integer 16. Integer 16, then you may lose the values or not? Yes. 1, 1, 1, 2, 2. Actually, it is what? 1.0, then 1.44, 1.88. But is it converted these values to which type? Integer, because I've given the data type as what? NP dot integer 16. That is nothing but explicit typecasting. But whenever you convert the values, there is a chance of loss of values. There is a chance of loss of what? Values. So that's the reason you try to take the same data type. What is the default data type used by linspace? Float. The default data type used by linspace is float. So I want to generate from 1 to 5. How many values? 10 values. From -5 to -1, I want to generate how many values? 5 values. From -5 to -1, I want to generate 5 values. From -1 to -5, I want to generate 5 values. From 4 to 0, I want to generate 5 values. From 10 to 20, I want to generate how many values? 5. But I can also give the input as a float. I can also give the input as a float. NP dot, what is this? Linspace. Okay, NP dot linspace 1.0 comma 5.0 comma. I want to generate how many values? 10 values. 10 values I want to generate. I'm saying A10. A10. Now it is generated how many values? 10 values from 1.0 to what? 5.0. So how many points it is generated? 10 points. 10 points are nothing but 10 values. Are you getting or not? Yes. What do you say here? Yes or no? Okay. So what is the difference between A range and lin space? Tell me, what is the difference between A space and lin space? It takes evenly. Okay. It takes evenly, but difference will be there or not? Yes. Is it difference is evenly? Means same or different? Is it difference is the same or different? Difference between these values is the same or different? Same only, right? Okay. Okay, linspace is also having some more keyword arguments. And there is an argument called endpoint. There is an argument called, okay, return step. And there is a argument called which one? Access 0. And there is an argument called which one? Device. Let me tell you about endpoint. Endpoint. But what is the default endpoint is included or not included? Included. Endpoint equal to what here? True. So let me tell you some more arguments. But this stopper is based on one more argument. What is it? Another argument is endpoint and return step. Return step. Yes. So let me take more arguments. Yes. Answers you don't want. Okay. Okay, numpy dot linspace. There is a starter, stopper, and there is number of values, and one more is endpoint. And what is an endpoint is true. What is the default endpoint is true. So the default endpoint is a true. Now suppose I'm writing A1 equal to np dot linspace. I want to generate the points from 0 to, okay, 0 to 4. 0 to 4. How many values I want to generate? 5 values. If I am writing A1, now this is an array contain how many values? 5 values. That is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the difference is 1. What is the difference is 1. A2 equal to np dot linspace 0 comma 4. 0 comma 4 comma 5, and I'm writing here endpoint. I'm writing endpoint. Now this is a starting point. This is a starting point and this is a stop point. There is a start, a stop, then end point. I'm writing endpoint equal to false. I write endpoint equal to false. If I'm writing endpoint equal to false, is it end value is included or not included? Not included. Is it 4 is included or not included? Not included. It is generated from 0 to what? Less than 4 or greater than equal to 4. Less than 4. Less than 4. Less than 4 means 0, 0 0.8, 1.6, 2.4, 3.2. But 4 is included or not included? Not included. Less than 4. It will generate until less than 4. But 4 is not included. When? If the value of endpoint is what? False. If the value of endpoint is false, but what is the default endpoint is true, it means stop is included or not included? Included. Default stop is included. Default stop is included. If you don't want to include it, just define the endpoint equal to what? False. So by default, the default value of endpoint is default value of endpoint. Point is nothing but value. Default value of endpoint is true. Okay, so this define what it defines. Stop value is what? Included. Stop value is included. If the value of endpoint is false, the stop value is not included. Stop value is not included. When it is not included, if the value of endpoint is what? False. Understood? This one you understood? Here 4 is included, but here 4 is not included. Here 4 is included, but here 4 is not included because you said endpoint equal to false. So this endpoint value are not including it. This endpoint value are not including it. Right?
मते दउनु मते दे मोठे लगौनु.
So the next one is, there is one more keyword argument is there. What is the name of the argument is retain step, retain step, retain step equal to which one? False. There's one more keyword argument is there. Yeah, this one you understood? Bolo yaar, yes sir. End point. End point is nothing but which value? Stop value. You want to include stop value or you want to exclude stop value. But by default, stop is included or excluded? Included. That is what we have written here. By default, the stop is included. But if you don't want to include the stop value, then just give endpoint equal to false. Just give the value of endpoint is false. Now there is one more keyword argument is there. What is that keyword argument is? Retain. There's one more keyword argument, retain step. So what is this retain step? RET step. And what is the value of retain step is false. Okay, right? So what we'll do is we'll discuss because it takes some. So tomorrow I'll discuss about what is the retain step is, and even we'll discuss remaining like what is access and what is the device, right? Okay. So I think this one you understood, all of you, right? So tomorrow we'll see more on this linspace, log space. Lot of functions are there. We'll discuss all this, right? Thank you. We'll see tomorrow, right?
ପରସା ପରସି ବେଳକୁ ମୁଁ କଣ କିଏ ମତେ କହନ୍ତି ମୁଁ ତ ଯାଇ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କର କରେ ଅଗର ଦ୍ୱାରି କିଏ ମତେ କାହାର କରିବି କେବଳ ନଖିଆଇର କରିନଥିଲି. ହଁ ଟିକେ ରହିଥା ଟିକେ ଏମିତିଆ ଯୋଉ କରେ ସିଏ ଆସିବ ମାନେ ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ କଣ କରୁଥିବି. ଏ କଣ ତିନିଟା ସୂତ୍ର